Hello and welcome to this weekly message. And today I want to talk about how to stay healthy throughout Easter. So, first of all, welcome to spring. Welcome to hopefully beautiful, warmer days and warmer weather. And I always truly find this time of like kind of rebirth and renew of whatever commitment I have to myself, to my business, to my family. So I really find this time of the year quite energetic, right? However, you don't have to rush into doing a lot of different things. I think we can ease ourselves into the spring. And of course, we are coming to Easter. So it's Easter break soon here in UK. And for me, Easter is always a religious festival. It is the time when we go quite a lot to the church and we truly connect with community and with the risen Christ. So I recorded the podcast on the religious versus spiritual, but when it comes to health, I always teach health or a coach health on three different levels. Obviously, everyone enters into coaching with different kind of expectations and different urging problems, right? But when you work with me long enough, usually about 12 weeks, we can touch on different spheres of our life. And I always teach on body, mind, and spirit because I've noticed that in order to create really good physical health and really have the energy, what comes to really on in a longer term and to make it sustainable is all about your mind and the mindset and why you're doing in the first place, and increasing the awareness so that you know that my habits are not the best. Why is that? Can I improve a little bit every day? And making sure that basically you take it to the awareness. And the spiritual level or soul, because sometimes we have mind, body, and soul, mind, body, and spirit. For me, spiritual level is really about, it's a religious context. At some point, I was in all of that spiritual thing about, universe and why people may need that kind of spiritual dimension in their life. First of all, when it comes to coaching, and sometimes we really, what it teaches us to be 100% relying on ourselves. So there is a lot of individualism in the coaching. Sometimes it's self, right? I can do this, I can be this, I can be that. But we know that life doesn't work like that. And when people rely too much only on themselves, they missing the vital and important part that we have to release and surrender and release the control. Now, sometimes in terms of the Christian context, Christians are accused of fatalism. So, I'm just subject and surrender myself to whatever gonna come and I don't do anything. This is not the point. We still have to be able to surrender ourselves, especially our materialistic view of ourselves and our lives, and then be able to basically release that control and surrender our materialistic view into the higher self, and then the higher good and the love, which comes for Christians from God. So for me, this time Easter is not about chocolate eggs, right? It's about my deepening my faith. And I have spent 40 days on really going into the Bible. And it's at some point, people are always asking me, like, people start with coaching and generally health on different levels. A lot of people will come to me for physical symptoms. I have physical symptoms. I'm pre-diabetic. I need help. But really, I'm past that stage, right? For myself, I'm not there anymore. I already know how to have healthy habits. It's not about being perfect, but it's definitely really evolving over the time, right? So for me, cooking healthy food and going for a walk. This is very standard already. That is the habits I've already have in place. I journal, I meditate, like. So what is else for me for the next level of my own evolution? And for me is that spiritual thing. And it's about religion, it's about faith. So going into the Bible, I've learned so much. I have been doing Bible every day since the beginning of the year, and I've learned so much. So I'm deepening my faith, but also deepening my creativity. So yesterday I spent the time in London, in the London galleries, and I felt like I want to grab a pencil and something and paint. So for me, this is the next level of evolution, right? So every one of us starts at different levels. But what I always show to my client, this is where you can be, where all of that is already taken care of in terms of your physical health, your energy levels, and your habits. And then you're going to the next level of evolution when you learn more, when you educate yourself, when you fulfill your own purpose, whatever that means. It doesn't matter where you work at the moment, because we are very good in creating our excuses, because it's like, well, this is not good, like this kind of environment is not good for me, this environment is not good for me. But we cannot sometimes control all of those things. So how we can put those things in place for us so that we can get to the next level. And faith for me is that next level, right? I've always been, in terms of Christians, I've been brought up like that, and that spiritual connection to God has really kind of came through over the recent months. And some of it I'm explaining in my recent podcast. I'm going a little bit deeper to give you a little bit more context why. But anyway, that's what Easter is about. We are finishing with big celebration. I mean, people say, well, Christmas is because Christmas has this very much so materialistic view. We have present, we have, Christmas tree, it's the songs and all of that. We have this kind of thing. And plus in this middle of the winter almost, and everyone needs that cheering us up. So we need lights and all of that. Whereas in spring, it's a different kind of vibe. And finishing, I mean, for Christianity, Easter is the biggest religious thing, because Christ has been, resurrected, and gives us hope. And there is a big passion. This is a lot to do with deepening your faith and relationship and trust with God, right? So for me, this is very, very religious. Christmas is also religious, but it has a different vibe. Whereas Easter is all about, without resurrection, without passion, there wouldn't be Christianity, really. So it's a very important part for all of the Christians out there in the world. You may not believe in God. That's okay. I always respect that, but I always ask why, and I'm open to listening to different reasons. Now, 40 days of Lent, this is where we prepare ourselves for the coming Lord. But we prepare ourselves spiritually and in a religious context as well. And for me, it's always, I put myself into a kind of a health challenge. So for example, I'm going to walk and meditate along with reading the books and whatever it really feels and provides the food for my soul, plus any health challenges. So maybe I don't drink alcohol or eat certain food. And it always deepened the understanding of myself. Whether there is a temptation, absolutely. The moment, and you probably have that, the moment you say, I'm not going to eat that, the temptation, like they're coming thick and fast at you to basically show you that you are a weaker person and you can subject to your temptations and whatever you want. And then you have those voices, well, why not? Why I should be doing this and really somehow punishing ourselves, which is not about that. It's about improving and also understanding that we not necessarily are broken and there is a lot of things to fix, but we can always get better. And I always ask, look at yourself realistically and being honest with yourself, increase self-awareness. And I've done a lot of videos on that as well in terms of increasing self-awareness. So how you can stay healthy, for me, again, 3 elements, as I said: mind, body, and spirit. Mind is how I want to spend this Easter, what really matters for me within this Easter. And if you don't really celebrate Easter, what matters for you during this time? Is it a time with the family, time for yourself to read the book, maybe draw? I visited all these galleries in London, and I was thinking, I really want to draw, I want to paint. So I have all of the art supplies, but this is where it is. Sometimes you wait for that inspiration and you want to put something on paper. And definitely this is where I am in that stage. I really want to get into this and really help myself with, the time. And I'm actually taking 2 weeks off after Easter to explore some of those things, because I really, truly need the break. So it's a question, is the mind, how I want to speak. Now body, spend the Easter. Now body is, how I feel physically, right? How I feel, and in order to feel better, what do I need to do? In Easter, you can have a lot of chocolates. There's chocolate eggs here and chocolate there. And of course you can just go over the board and eat chocolate eggs like there is no tomorrow. But the question is that you have to ask yourself, do I really want to do that? And you can always choose a healthier chocolate. There isn't something like that, because chocolate is usually full of sugar. So it's basically choosing something which may be a little bit healthier. It could be a darker chocolate or something not chocolate. Bake a cake, right? It's such a good opportunity to bake a cake. One of the cakes I will be baking, it's a kind of the Italian style cake with courgettes, right? I have some props for this video today. I love courgette. Courgette is such a versatile vegetable. You can grate it and put it into fritters. You can grate it and make sure that you squeeze excess water and you put it into cakes. You can do a delicious green soup, which I will post the link into the show notes, of delicious, beautiful green spring soup. Add wild garlic. Wild garlic is currently in season. And if you can eat seasonal food during the spring, it's just do it. So we put in things in our garden. We saw some seeds. We have lettuces, radishes, beetroots, herbs, dill, and all of that. I just love fresh herbs. I bought plenty of fresh herbs for Easter, because I love it. I love that greenery, love the freshness. You don't need a lot, but then it is and if you buy them in pots, it is the best. If you can grow them, obviously they need time to grow. But yeah, try it. So courgette, I would say green soup, cake, fritters, whatever. Now, so food is one of those things. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Yeah, quite often we may have a little bit of time off. Then I'm gonna have maybe that wine, this wine, gin and tonic, and whatever. Make sure that you have a good balance and you add quite good water, and you can flavor the water yourself, right? So add a few pieces of some fruit or lemon. I wouldn't have it too much, because it just sort of may impact your teeth. So it's just basically having the balance, but make sure you stay hydrated. Our body needs water for sure. Maybe so I have a little bit more time, so I plan and I will cook. So in terms of the Easter dinner, it's nothing like roast dinner. It's a similar thing. Quite often in UK, this is popular to have Easter lamb. Lamb is one of the fattest meats. So just be careful with that. Maybe have a little, if you eat meat, or try maybe I will have something different. Fish is very good, but also maybe there is a vegetarian or veggie or vegan alternative. And one of the alternatives is lentil pate, which is baked like a cake. And I will put the the link to the recipe I found online, and I love using lentils. So either they are cooked, this is really good for pate, but it's going to be quite dark. So for my kind of veggie pate, the one I bake, I like using red lentils, and there is a recipe of that. But those are cooked, but those are green lentils, like that. And you can cook them. Chickpeas are so good as well to cook and add to the pate, or make a little bit like a veggie curry later on, maybe for Easter Monday. I mean, there are so many different recipes out there. Try, maybe you have a little bit of time. I'm gonna go and experiment with some of the recipes. So I'm gonna also bake an apple pie. I'm gonna bake this Italian special kind of courgette cake, which doesn't have a lot of ingredients. I think it's vegan, so you can add eggs or don't. I try to have the mix, and sometimes the cakes are vegetarian, sometimes they are vegan. So I think there are so many different ways you can explore it, rather than going into something standard you already always have, right? For me, spring is all about herbs, all about fresh salads. It's all about, I do eat some eggs as well. So eggs are quite good. Maybe some, fish is always good, and a lot of various vegetables. In terms of the roasted vegetables, I always mix it with some fresh salad as well, because roasted vegetables, although they are good, they can be quite on a high glycemic spectrum. So when you roast them, a lot of sugar can come out of them. So that's parsley, carrots, just maybe have a little bit of that, and maybe alongside with them fresh salad. You can have like a veggie pate. You can even do like I usually serve it with a grated beetroot, which are quite good. They can be quite sugary beetroot, so I'm careful with that. But for us, it's spring is about eggs. It's about beetroot. It's about horseradish. A little bit of mayo if you don't want to have a lot of mayo, because it's quite high in fat. It's kind of saturated fat content. Maybe replace with some nice oat yogurt, right? But plain, not obviously the fruit one. So, I mean, so many different ways to eat a healthy way, right? And of course, don't forget about the hydration. So that's it really. And of course, because we have warmer days now, maybe let's go for a walk. Maybe explore something that you always wanted to try, but you have not had a time for it. Something I will be trying this Easter is Nordic walking. I'm trying to get the certificate in Nordic walking just for myself for now, and maybe at some point doing this with other people, because I found it that I really need to be out in the nature. Nordic walking is not like walking in the park. It really is a high pace quite often, because you use the poles to propel yourself forward. So naturally you're going to walk faster, right? So, but I wanted to change it a little bit. And there is a lot of arms movement, right, as well. So it gives you better arms flexibility. You can do a lot of exercises with the poles as well. So it's not only for people, like really true Nordic walking is quite fast. So of course, everyone at different levels can join, but it's definitely something different you can potentially explore, because why not? Something new, right? Okay, so I hope that this resonated with you. And if you would like to listen to my podcast on this more kind of the spiritual part of yourself, then of course it's now released and available. There will be some recipes below. You can check and maybe find some inspiration, but also comment below what are your plans for the Easter? What do you like cooking, right? Let's create a nice community. Let's inspire each other of how we can spend this time with the focus on those three elements: mind, body, and spirit, but also on the human connection, right? Okay. Have a lovely Easter break, and bye for now.